I watched more movies. Anyone care to hear about it? Hey, in case you missed part one, which you probably did, this is me talking about a bunch of movies that I saw this summer. Because normally I do, quick race the ramens for most of these, but not all of them I had a ton to say about. And I've also been busy again lately. Part of the reason that first video took so long. I mean, I meant to have that be more topical, but, life happens, and life's going to keep happening to me for a while, so my upload schedule is still going to be kind of weird. So, even though the first one didn't do so great, it took a long time, whatever, I had fun, and I did in fact see many more movies since even just that video. I have another 8 movies from this summer that I'd like to discuss. Good, bad, all over the place. It is hot as hell in here again, just like last time, but at least I'm in my normal filming spot. So anyway, yeah, a bunch of short, quick discussions about a handful of movies. And, yeah, let me know what you guys think of this. And what do you think of these movies in the comments? But now I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's actually talk about some movies now, shall we? Okay, another 8, another list. Let's start with the newest release on this list, and one that everyone's got on their minds right now. The movie on everybody's lips. It's Weapons!
Every other class had all their kids. But Mrs. Gandy's room was totally empty. And you know why? Because the night before, at 2:17 in the morning, every kid woke up, got out of bed, walked downstairs, and into the dark. And they never came back.
Weapons was great. I think that not everyone agrees with that, but most people I know seem to be loving it. I had not seen a film from Zach Krieger before. All I knew about him is that he was a previous member of the Whitest Kids You Know comedy troupe, and that he directed Barbarian. But the buzz was crazy for Weapons. Apparently Jordan Peele is kind of a famous story now. There was like an auction for the movie's script, and Jordan Peele told his publicist to go to this auction and try and win it. He didn't, so Monkey Paw didn't end up producing it, and then Jordan Peele fired his publicist. Like, that's how hot this script was. That and the great marketing had a lot of people buzzing about what this movie was going to be. It had a really intriguing looking mystery. The kids all walk out of their houses at 2:17 a.m., walk into the dark, and never come back. Okay. But how does it play out? And without spoiling, this movie is crazy. This movie is insane. I watched Barbarian, Zach Krieger's previous horror movie, before watching this, so that I could kind of get an idea of what I was in for. Kind of a fruitless effort, because there's hardly any way to be ready for Weapons. But it did get me a little familiar with his style before I went in. I knew to expect a sort of long, slow build-up to some sort of big revelation. Like, Barbarian and this are pretty different, but the both of them spend a lot of time in, pretty much just our reality before it slowly starts dipping its toes into the weird stuff. And it kind of helps to highlight, like, the horrificness of some of these more overtly horror scenes, and, like, the violence and the terror going on in this story when you have, like, such a grounded setting with, like, real feeling people. Like, a lot of not like the deepest characters, but all pretty well fleshed out, well drawn, with clear personalities, all acted well. Josh Brolin's great. Julia Garner does a good job. Benedict Wong is great in this for how relatively small his role is. Everyone does great. Good score, really well shot. I really appreciated the non-linear, multi-character narrative of this. I think it did a lot to this film's benefit. I really think that without it, it wouldn't be the same movie at all, because it helps to build the tension a lot. 2, you get a lot of different characters, so if you get tired of being with one of them, you get to switch over to someone else at a certain point. And Yeah, it's just a really cool, creative, freaky fucking weirdo movie. It's not the scariest movie I've ever seen, but the parts that are scary are pretty effective. And there's a huge, like, palpable sense of, like, dread and tension for, like, the entire runtime. Up until, like, a climax that I dare not spoil, but it had me cheering with my jaw just agape at what I was watching. I don't think it's a perfect movie, but it's definitely one of the highlights for this year. Again, we'll see how the public reacts. So far, it's been pretty positive, but I have a feeling this could be another Sinners situation. Probably not exactly the same, but people are turning up for this, and I think they're going to keep turning up. It's been a good year for horror movies, and this is one of the better ones. I think that Weapons is fantastic, and without spoiling it, really funny, odd, scary, disturbing, thought-provoking, genre-blending thriller horror thing. Some people have been really hating it, thinking it's not making a great point, or much of a point really, or that it's too funny, and that it kind of takes away from the scariness of it. Similar complaints I remember people having for movies like Us, Jordan Peele. Like, I don't know if this balance of comedy and horror works for me. Completely fair. Hell, you might not even find it that funny. I really feel like it's subjective. But it's a fascinating movie. It evokes a lot of different emotions. It talks about a lot of different things, and it kind of just speaks for itself. Certain things about it are more obvious than others, like what they're trying to convey or discuss, but it's really open to interpretation while also just having like a really satisfying, slowly unfolding mystery narrative. So, yeah, I'd really recommend Weapons. It is a standout horror film in a year of standout horror films. And if you want to learn what happened to these fucking kids, you're going to have to find out for yourself, because trust me, it's worth it. Whatever you think it is, it's probably not that. And whatever you think happens, I assure you, it's definitely not that. Go see Weapons. Make President Abraham Lincoln proud. Okay, we got Weapons out of the way. How about some slightly lighter fare? I'm a little late for both of these, but why not? Let's get them both out of the way. Some superhero movies, starting with Superman. He flies through the rings. I am actually pretty surprised by how much I liked Superman. I've seen it 3 times now, which usually means I like a movie quite a bit if I'm willing to go and see it in theaters 3 times. Different people first 2 times. Actually, different people all 3 times. And the 3rd time I went to a drive-in, which was a lot of fun. I saw kids like sneak into the screening, and we're just watching Superman on this big drive-in like screen, eating a chili dog, hearing people laughing all around me. Lots of people in trucks who brought their dogs to see this. Probably having a great time watching Crypto bounce around. I'm kind of rambling, but I feel like everyone's seen this already. Like, most people I know have heard of it or seen it already. It's been one of the bigger movies of the summer. I think it's completely warranted. I generally really like James Gunn movies. I haven't seen everything he's made. I haven't seen his entire catalog, but I've seen Super, and I've seen like pretty much every movie, like superhero movie he's directed since he started doing Marvel and DC stuff. And I don't know if Superman is my favorite one of his, but if this is his first foot forward as the new king of the castle, as it were, for the DC movie, like, universe, whatever we want to call it, after like 10 years of weird, bizarre experiments that ended up having to be flushed down the toilet because it just wasn't working. Great first foot forward. It is kind of a dense movie. The first time I watched it, I was like trying to just keep up with everyone that's in it. And I kind of understand the complaints some people have of like, this feels like episode 12 of like season 7 of some show you haven't watched, where like everything has been established already and people are just like doing their shit and you kind of just pick it up as you go. Like, that was a bit of a problem for me on my first watch, but after watching it multiple times and kind of knowing what happens, to me, I kind of enjoy every bit of this movie. And I'm impressed at what an accomplishment that is. Like, it's already impressive that James Gunn made me care about Superman, because I don't hate Superman, but I never really cared about him. And I know plenty of people who are just the same or hate Superman because I think he's boring or lame or uninteresting, or because of the last handful of movies that, you know, didn't help keep their interest. And not only has James Gunn and David Cornsweet and this whole team, they've managed to make me like Superman and make a likable, like fun, lighthearted, corny Superman. I like every character in this movie. I love Nicholas Holt's interpretation of Lex Luthor. I love Eve, like Lex Luthor's girlfriend. She's like really fun. I love this version of Jimmy Olsen. Even the characters who have basically nothing to do, like a good chunk of the Daily Planet crew and like a lot of Lex's minions, they're all really well characterized and bizarrely memorable. And that is just like one aspect of it, because it helps a lot to make this world feel believable. You enter into this realm of like fictional nations and robots and aliens and flying dogs and like dimensional imps, quote unquote, and all this crazy crap, and it's their normal. So they just kind of like throw you into it, and once you're past that, you're just in like this really, really well realized like fantasy world, basically, that feels so much like the real world that we're in. It's like a really like balanced blend where it stands right on the line of like high fantasy nonsense, where you got the flying dogs and the Element Man shooting acid with his and like saving his little green baby. But you also have like parallels to, you know, real world conflict and real world people in some pretty crazy and obvious ways for anyone who's paying attention. Like, I don't think this is like the deepest movie ever. I can't, after 3 watches, I'd say it has like 1 or 2 really obvious, clear themes. And for the most part, it's what you see is what you get, just pure entertainment. I don't think there's anything wrong with that, because the few things that it like attaches onto its narrative is like central tenets, like empathy is good, kindness is like a form of rebellion in a world that doesn't care and is like mean and cruel, and all that's awesome. I think that's all done really, really well, and I can really appreciate how much like happiness and like hope and positivity this movie has been spreading through its messaging. I don't want to like downplay that. I just think that it's not about much more than that. It is Superman saving the day and a bunch of characters hanging out, and that's largely what it is. It's not about nothing, but it's mostly just about being a movie that's entertaining and memorable. It succeeds. It's got stuff in it worth talking about. It's kept people really interested with all the different characters. People are already on board to see like sequels and spin-offs. We saw Supergirl in this movie for like a minute, and now everyone's on board to see her get a full movie. James Gunn, you've done it again. I could ramble for a while, but I don't want to spend too long on each one of these again. But that said, yes, I really love Superman. It's probably in my top 10 for the year so far. And of like just the blockbuster style movies that have come out this year, it's one of the best. And whatever this DC universe has coming next, I am actually very interested. So yeah, super duper, man. Also, I was genuinely so happy that there's at least 2 or 3 moments in this movie where you could genuinely say Superman flew through a ring. That's all I wanted, and he actually fucking did it. Okay. It's 2 big ones right there. Sorry, I keep like trying to fix my hair between... Oh my god. I keep trying to fix my hair between these and it's not working. It's hot in here. Okay, a few quick ones that I don't have as much to say about. Fantastic Four! I enjoyed the Fantastic Four First Steps. That's about it. I think it's got really good set design. I actually really like most of the characters. My weak link was probably Pedro Pascal as Mr. Fantastic. Not that I know much of anything about the Fantastic Four, but I just found him the least interesting out of the four. It wasn't bad, just not really standout. Vanessa Kirby's great. I don't know the other two actors' names who did the Thing and Mr. Blaze Torch Johnny, but yeah, they're good too. Yeah, good characters, good score. Michael Giacchino never misses. And in the middle, there's like a 15-minute sequence that's maybe one of my favorites of the year. Nothing close to like a Sinners shot or something like that, but just a really well executed, solid chunk of the movie. And without going into that with spoilers, it's when they go into space and come back to try and like talk to Galactus. That whole back and forth and everything in between, to me, was just like all of the best strengths of the movie firing off at once. And at no point was I ever really like super bored or like frustrated by anything. But at the same time, I'm not really blown away. Like, again, pretty strong visual design. They got the WandaVision guy to direct this, and the whole retro-futurist angle is nice. It adds a lot of flavor and context to this world that I think works well for these characters. And the plot in general is not bad. It had a few twists and turns I didn't see coming. But I couldn't help but feel that this movie mostly just exists to set up, like, Avengers Doomsday. Like, it's got the post-credit teasing Doctor Doom. And, I actually saw Thunderbolts, so I saw, like, the post-credit scene where it's like, hey, that's the Fantastic Four ship. Oh? So I kind of, like, knew where this was going. So I was mostly just there to see how the story by itself entertained me. And, yeah, it did fine. It was a good movie with, like, good dialogue and characters and reasonable pacing. It could have had better editing. Some shots were cut really quick, and it actually kept annoying me because I was enjoying a lot of the shots and the way that this movie is shot. But then at times I could feel just someone in the editing bay was like, we got to get this under 2 hours so that it's more likely to fill seats and get people in here because our movies aren't making money the way they used to, and we got to have people see Doomsday. We're still writing it even though we're shooting it. Anyway, yeah. Good characters. I liked this version of Johnny Torch. I loved this version of the Invisible Woman, actually. I thought she was the standout. Perfectly fine, Reed Richards. The Thing is always amazing. I love The Thing. Even in, like, the 2000s Fantastic Four movies, The Thing fucking rules. It's really hard to fuck up The Thing. And you know, that's just the thing about it. Anyway, I don't have a lot else to say. Perfectly watchable, enjoyable movie. If you're interested, check it out, but it's nothing too mind-blowing. It is a solid, enjoyable superhero movie with good bits and some unique, mature scenes that feel refreshing and nice in a project like this, but for the most part, nothing mind-blowing, nothing life-changing. Good but not great. The good but not great 4. That's my review. Yeah. That's all for that. Let's see. Oh boy. Okay, I've got even less to say about this one. Let's make this extra quick. The Smurfs. This fucking sucked.
Whoa.
Yeah, whoa.
Are you ready to get pumped up?
I think I just smurfed my pants.
Yeah, I don't think anyone is surprised by this one, but yes, the new Smurfs movie is bad, if you can believe it. I saw it like purely out of curiosity. The advertising for this movie is some of the worst I've seen in a long time. Like, everyone was clowning on how awful the posters looked. Everyone was making jokes about how Influencer Smurf from the trailers got canceled, and it kind of succeeded because either Influencer Smurf never existed and was just for marketing, or they just removed them because we made too many jokes about them, because they're not in the movie at all. There is no Influencer Smurf. You've been lied to. You've been tricked. Just like Madam Web. Influencer Smurf was in the Amazon with my mom right before she died. Hunting spiders, by the way. Anyway, Yeah, this sucks. Like, there's not a lot to say, I guess, about this one. It's not even like the worst thing ever. It's part of the reason I don't have a lot to say about it, is that it is bad, quite bad. But you almost like forget it while you're watching it. I remember thinking that as I was in the theater. I was like, man, I just zoned out for a second. Where are we? Like, I didn't care. I didn't care. I tried. And like, the story is like one of the most generic things ever. For a movie in 2025, it's really pushing it with how recycled so many of these plot points feel. And this voice cast is bizarre. They simultaneously have like a shitload of celebrities, but also not a ton of star power, and none of them are like used well. The main character is voiced by James Corden, which sucks. John Goodman is Papa Smurf, but they barely use him. Rihanna is Smurfette, and she's not as bad as I expected, but she's still not good. And like, shit, Octavia Spencer is a character with like one line of dialogue, and Marshmallow, like, the singer, voices this turtle who's in the movie way more than I thought he would be, going, "What the shell?" Because he's a turtle, you get it? It's just bad. Like, it has no ideas. Like, the animation can be good sometimes. Like, there's some visually nice sequences, and it's never, like, ugly. It took me a while to get used to the way the faces look, because they almost look like emojis on a model or something. But in general, this movie looks quite nice from an animation perspective, and I laughed at a couple jokes. It's not without some decent stuff, but not nearly enough to justify watching it, let alone in theaters. I like almost completely banished the bulk of it from my mind as soon as the credits rolled. And yeah, just no. Stop making Smurfs movies. Who are these for? Who likes the Smurfs this much that we keep trying to like make them a thing? It's not working, guys. It's not gonna work. Just stop, please. Oh my god. I'll give it this, okay? Like, this movie's bad. It's not as bad as it looked from the marketing, because the marketing made it look like the worst movie of all time. That said, I can't really recommend it to anybody. There's no real reason to watch this, like, ironically or otherwise. It's just another bad kids movie, another bad Smurfs movie. It's just chance it's the worst Smurfs movie. And even then, it's not quite bad enough to really be worth talking about. It's mostly just forgettable. Like, they didn't try nearly hard enough, and like, you can feel that they didn't care enough, so why the fuck should you care, basically? Sorry, Smurfs director and animators and actors. I did not enjoy your film. I hope that I haven't broken your hearts. Truly. But also, I'm sorry it was shit. Smurfs are bad. The Smurfs are bad. Bad movie. Alright, before we get into the heavier stuff, one last bit of silliness to prepare us. And it's some quality grade A silliness. We have The Naked Gun, the new version.
Rest assured, I won't stop until I've found justice.
What do you want, little one?
Your ass. Nobody messes with the squad.
Just a good, silly, smartly constructed, dumbass comedy. The kind of thing we just don't see anymore. And it makes sense to me that the director is Akiva Schaffer, who gave us Pop Star, Never Stop Stopping, from 2016, because that was like the last truly great big dumb comedy from like a mainstream studio in like the last decade or so. I mean, don't get me wrong. I haven't forgotten Hundreds of Beavers. Hundreds of Beavers remains the GOAT. That's like my favorite comedy of all time now. And whenever someone likes to throw around the best best Looney Tunes adaptation ever made, I give it to that movie because no one else should hold the crown. To me, that is the king of modern dumb stupid comedies, and it owes much to the original Naked Guns and the Zucker Brothers and all kinds of other stuff. But enough of me jerking off Hundreds of Beavers, although that would be interesting to see. But anyway, Naked Gun. It was funny. Going to see this, I had a revelation. I've never actually sat down and watched the entirety of any one of the Naked Gun movies. I think I've seen a good chunk of 33 1/3, which is supposedly the worst one. And I've seen clips of all of them. But I have also seen in total, like actual entire other Zucker Brothers comedies. I've seen Airplane, I've seen Top Secret, I know Leslie Nielsen's work, and I love silly parody comedies like this that they don't really make much of anymore. So, I was enthusiastic for this because I was like, ooh, Liam Neeson, inspired choice. Ooh, Seth MacFarlane, producer. Could be good or bad, but we'll see. See the director attached. I'm like, okay. I see that joke in the trailer about O.J. Simpson, and I'm like, okay, they might be cooking. And then I go out and see this movie, and what do you know? They are cooking. There's really not a lot I can say without spoiling it, I guess, and spoiling the jokes for people. So I guess I have to keep this one brief. It's funny. Like, not everyone's gonna laugh the same. Not every joke is gonna hit everyone the same, and I don't think each joke is equally as funny as the other in this film. But I found this hilarious. My friend who I took this with thought it was really funny. My girlfriend didn't love it as much as me. Because she said it was basically funny and that's it. But if that's all you're looking for, you're going to get what you want. Because, like, both crowds I was in, because I've seen this in theaters twice now, they were, like, pissing themselves, busting a gut. And lots of sequences had everyone laughing. There's lots of jokes that got, like, a bunch of people chuckling and then, like, one person laughing really hard in, like, one corner. I love comedies like that, where you get crowd-pleasing sequences and then you can see in real time people, like, learning their new favorite quote from this movie that they're going to constantly share with their friends. Like, it's already happening that people are picking their favorite lines from this new one. I had 5 more that day. Me and my girlfriend have been saying that to each other, like, on and off again for, like, weeks. Yeah, Liam Neeson is an incredible replacement for Leslie Nielsen in spirit and tone. It was wonderful to see him doing this kind of just pure comedy. Perfect for it. Pamela Anderson is actually great in this too. I didn't recognize her at first. I guess I just haven't seen her in a long time. She does great in this. Everyone's pretty damn good in this. And again, I kind of agree with my girlfriend here. I don't think it's my favorite Akiva Schaffer comedy. I love Popstar so much. And, like, as good as this is, on the second watch, I did laugh a lot, but I laughed a little less because I did know that all the jokes were coming, and a lot of that element of surprise is a big part of your enjoyment factor with this. That said, it is pretty dense with gags. Could probably be denser. And, lots and lots of memorable moments. It doesn't feel like a waste of potential. It doesn't feel like another money grab, like, legacy sequel. For as silly as this premise and property are, it feels like they took this assignment very seriously because they wanted to, you know, add to this legacy in a meaningful way and make a funny comedy, make a Naked Gun for this generation. And I think they did a good job. It's not perfect. It's not necessarily the best Naked Gun, but it's a really good comedy and people are eating it up. I think it's showing that people miss this kind of, like, dumb, kind of juvenile, but cartoonishly silly, thought out kind of comedy. And I would like to see more of these, please. We should get sequels to this version of Naked Gun. And if we do, I want the budget to go up Damn it. I was really trying hard not to burp. I've had 5 chili dogs today. That completely destroyed my train of thought. Fuck. Anyway, really funny movie and you should see it. I'm leaving that whole bit in because it's funny and this movie is funny, so it's fitting, I guess. Naked Gun good. I want sequels. Please see this. Dumb comedies are alive again. Thank fucking God. I love stupid shit. 3 more. Ooh, and it's 3 juicy ones. 2 really good movies and 1 really bad one. And sorry, just to disappoint people ahead of time. I have not watched Happy Gilmore 2. I'm sorry. It's on my list. But Netflix is a little bitch, and I've been busy. So anyway. Okay, alright. Let's talk another horror movie, shall we? Something that my girlfriend and I went and saw together, and were alone in the theater to watch. Together. Starring Dave Franco and Alison Brie. We watched the codependency movie alone. Fucking hilarious, right?
It's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay.
Billy, wake up.
You'll be okay.
This wasn't exactly what I thought it was going to be, and I am a little disappointed by that. Just a little. I have my problems with this movie. Do not think it's perfect. But, it's still real good. It's very interesting and unique. And in a year of high-profile horror movies doing really well, I can kind of understand why this one got lost in the shuffle a little bit. Been a busy couple of weeks, busy year in terms of horror. But I've been looking forward to this one for months because the premise just sounded so up my alley. The older I get and the more I watch movies, the more I start to realize that I kind of love body horror. I don't know what it says about me, but I like movies about corruption of the flesh and body and mind. I don't know. Everyone has their thing. Shut up. But yeah, this movie presented a body horror idea, but it's like, what if you had a couple that were so in love that they were literally starting to melt into each other? And that's basically the premise. I don't want to spoil anything more, but it's like you have Dave Franco and Alison Brie, who are apparently married in real life, which adds an interesting extra layer to the whole narrative and the performances and everything. They're a couple who've been together for a long time. They're not married yet, and the spark may be fading between them. Like, they just have some problems that they can't really seem to work out with each other. They still clearly care about each other, but maybe they're drifting apart. And in the middle of all this, they've moved in together and moved out into the country. And then they fall into like a weird cave while they're out hiking. And then they come home and weird shit starts happening. And they slowly start to stick together more and more. That's about as much as I can spoil without completely destroying this premise for you. I'll get the negatives out of the way, I guess. I think the pacing is uneven. I think it takes, for my taste at least, entirely too long for both members of this couple to basically be aware of what is happening in this movie, like what the problem is. And I feel like I might have enjoyed the story a little more if just a little faster both of them were on board. Because most of my favorite scenes in this were the two of them like working together to try and figure it out as a couple. I liked the idea of this like horrifying situation basically pushing them closer. Like, well, one, forcibly, but also two, because they're bonding, like getting through it together. And yeah, I think it has a good slow setup, but it probably just takes a little bit too long to get to the money shot. It doesn't quite have the same escalation of tension as Weapons, where it's like really good at like up and down, just slowly building it, and then boom, crazy shit happens once we like slowly built to it. There's crazy shit pretty early, but then like the real like plot, like going full speed, full forward, takes a little while. And for a while, you're mostly focused on like Dave Franco's character more than both of them as a couple, which is weird. To the point that I thought that he was like just the main character for a while. I was like, oh, we're not going to learn as much about Alison Brie, and I was wrong. But yeah, anyway, just weird pacing, some weird narrative decisions here and there that I didn't always love or agree with. And I could see some people going, huh, at the ending. But all that aside, everything else about this movie is really good. I felt like it was really effectively creepy and tense. It's not like the grossest body horror movie I've seen, but the few like really intense sequences of just like the cracking of bones and the wet slapping and stretching of flesh, and like the scenarios they imagine for this couple, like how they get into them, how they play out, are all like pretty like fascinating and unique. And I can't say I've seen this sort of thing in a movie before, even though I have again seen like my handful of body horror movies that I like. Yeah, it's a really interesting discussion on, like, I guess like romantic anxiety, fear that you're not good enough for your partner, or that they love you more than you love them, or you love them more than they love you, vice versa. Just like fears that like it's all gonna crumble, or that it's based on some sort of lie. But then like this movie is bizarrely sweet as much as it is scary, because like it manages to like discuss these things in a way that's like funny but also like kind of painfully real. And by the end, while they're not like the most fleshed out couple in the world, you can understand why they do what they do, and you can like believe that they love each other. It's bizarre. It really is bizarre. It's messy, very messy, and super not for everyone. But for like the true lovers out there, and for like the little sicko weirdos that like, again, corruption of the flesh like me, high recommendation. My girlfriend has been getting more into horror movies lately, and we went to see together. She liked it more than I did, if that tells you anything. Weirdo over here who loves weird movies thought it was pretty good. She thought it was like fantastic. So yeah, give it together a shot if you haven't. Good movie, kind of overlooked in the shuffle of everything lately. Maybe not the absolute best horror movie from this year, but very unique, and it really sticks with you, especially if you've got, like, if you're in a relationship yourself, or if you've had like shaky relationships in the past. There's a lot there for you to relate to. And an almost existentialist horror movie, both in its horror and in how it discusses romance. Very interesting. Okay. Two more. We got one more big good one, and then an extra special shitty treat at the end, like we did last time with Sneaks. Yeah, I keep saying I'll try and keep it brief, but these go on longer than I always expect them to. Anyway, time for one of the biggest old hootenannies of the whole year. One of the weirdest, wildest, the West ever saw. All right, let's head on down to New Mexico, because it's time to take a trip to a little town. Let's talk about Eddington. I fucking loved Eddington.
Look, Joe, 6th Street.
Where the buffalo roam,
Is that praying?
where the deer and the antelope play,
How did we get here? And even worse, is it worth it?
where seldom
At the
is
cost of being at war with your neighbors?
a discouraging word,
That's why I'm running for mayor.
and the skies are not
Mayor of Eddington.
cloudy all day.
Thank you super duper very much.
This was one of the big surprises of the year for me. I have been excited for Eddington since the early trailers, because, well, you know, it wasn't easy to parse exactly what it was at first, but I was getting the vibe right away. This has to be about, this feels like a modern story, something with our social media and our persistence to doom scroll. Like, it just had like this bizarre little teaser where like not much really happened, but you could feel that like something crazy was going to happen in this story, just like this energy. And then the more and more I saw about it, like the reaction from festivals and everything, people calling it like the first modern Western, And it got like a lot of really good reviews, and it got a lot of really negative reviews. It was one of those rare, truly polarizing, like artistic movies where you're gonna get like no clear common consensus on whether people like it or not. And I can't even tell from a distance if people like it or not. It generally seems like the reception's been positive. But some people really, 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 really hate it, including a lot of critics I respect. And other people, including, again, critics I also respect, love it. And it's fascinating. It doesn't seem to be making a ton of money. It's doing okay, but I don't think it's made its budget back yet. And by the way, just a small addendum, I think it's crazy that A24 has like produced and distributed every Ari Aster movie. Like, imagine having your career start that way and just stay that way. He made Beau is Afraid for like $35 million. It flopped. And then A24 goes and just gives him $25 million again. Oh, they took $10 million off the budget, but it's still a lot. He knows how to stretch a dollar. Like, he turned $25 million into what feels like an entire town and a bizarre, parodic pastiche of, like, concurrent with COVID and post-COVID America. Like, I think that this movie is flawed, and I think that it's like a messy, provocative piece of satire, which I think is part of the reason that a lot of people don't like it. Some people think that it's just like this transgressive, make you upset, get a reaction out of you kind of movie. Some people see it as in a similar way to Alex Garland's Civil War, where they think it's just kind of a little too centrist, doesn't really take a stand or like say anything strong enough against either the left or the right in America, because that is a big part of this. I mean, I haven't even explained the movie. I'm assuming you know about it, but Ari Aster's new movie, it's not explicitly a horror movie, but it kind of is. It's set in May of 2020 when, you know, the pandemic was really heating up and the whole world was on fire and getting more on fire, and we just have this little petri dish fictional town that, while it doesn't really exist, and while the things in it did not literally happen, it doesn't feel terribly far away from our reality. Like, that's the thing about it, is like, this movie is ridiculous and it gets like cartoonish, especially in the third act, to the point that I could totally see people like disavowing its political assertions and just thinking this is some like stupid escapist fantasy. Some people even seem to think that's like conservative, like revenge porn or like fantasy fulfillment or something. Again, I'm not gonna say you're wrong. I don't agree, but I think it's cool that a lot of people have these interpretations, kind of similar to Weapons. But I am just like, again, my girlfriend had good insight on this. She said that it felt like watching the news, because like, while it's full of like cartoonish like stereotypes of a lot of different types of people, all of these jokes, all of these plot points, this is all based on real life. Like, even the stupid ass like solid gold Magikarp like data center plot point, like, I thought that was just a hilarious name they picked. And then I talked to my brother who knows more about crypto, and he told me that there's like potentially like shocking and dangerous consequences to that name. There's shit, like, it's such a dense movie. It is so densely packed with visual information and noise, and I really think that's part of it. I think like Ari Aster was trying to replicate the specific era of COVID where everything was blowing up and everyone was yelling at each other, and we were all just getting fed conflicting information all the time, like conflicting opinions, conflicting reports on everything. So it is a movie that overwhelms you intentionally in a similar way to how Beau was Afraid did, but rather than in service of like one big major theme, that basically being anxiety fucking sucks, and when it's bad, it's all consuming. All kinds of themes here: racial inequity and optics in the news, the crimes of both the left and right, Democrats and Republicans. And like, I don't think it's fair to be like, oh, this movie doesn't talk about COVID well enough. It's like, you know, maybe it doesn't. It's fair, I guess. But at the same time, it's like, what? You want them to make one movie that, like, completely encapsulates COVID? That's impossible. COVID lasted for years. It affected the entire planet. Like, I think this time period, this, like, fake town, the area it's in of New Mexico, all of this is intentional. To examine as much of this, like, swath of this, like, period of time and these experiences, as much of it as you can. Because, like, this isn't just about COVID. It's about, like, everything around it. And more specifically, it's about how COVID affected the entire world, but it did something really fucking weird to America. Because, like, the writing was on the wall that we were already divided, but then it became clearer that we were just going to become more and more divided. Either because some people saw ways to benefit from that, or other people were genuinely trying to make things better because they thought they were doing the right thing, and then they fucked it up for everyone else. I could go on for a long time about this one, but I really enjoyed Eddington. I really want to see it again, and, like, just see if my opinion changes. It might. But for all the problems and the rough edges and the just crazy shit in this, it is a insanely artistic and insanely ambitious project that I think, for the most part, Ari Aster and, like, the whole team involved did a great job. Like, I'm not a huge Ari Aster fan. I'm really not. But despite the gaps in my cinematic resume, I've seen all of his movies at least once. And again, just once each, so my opinion could change. I think Eddington is my favorite movie of his by a long shot, because there's just the most to chew on. And again, you can argue how effectively it manages all this stuff, but I think it made a pretty interesting case for a lot of this stuff and explored so much of this stuff in an interesting way. Could it have been more in depth for a lot of these topics? Absolutely. Should it have been for some of these? Yes, probably. But as it stands, fascinating portrait of what has happened in this country the last few years, how it felt a few years ago when everything was imploding around us. And again, while it's flawed and it's one person's interpretation, and we'll see how it stands up in, like, 10 years or whatever, someone had to do this and, like, tackle COVID in a direct way, and, like, how it's affected this country in different ways. But, like, a lot of people could have done it and could have messed it up. Ari Aster probably could have messed it up. I don't think he did, and I'm glad he didn't. Eddington is really good, and you should check it out. You might hate it, you might love it, but I'll tell you this, you probably haven't seen anything like it before. In a movie, anyway. Alright, this is going on for a long time. I said it wouldn't. I was wrong, I guess. But let's save the worst for last, but also kind of the best. I talked about Sneaks last time, which was a pretty bad movie. Far from the worst I've seen this year, but in the bottom rung. This time we got something special, because this isn't just another bad movie that came out this year. This is unequivocally, without question, the worst movie I've seen this year. And if there's a movie worse this year than this one, I'll buy a hat and eat it. Because this is like some all-timer, like, worst movie of all time, like, infamy, put it on a list kind of shit movie. Enough teasing. I bet most of you already know what I'm getting at here. You already know what's in the present. Alright, let me just rip it off. Hey, it's War of the Worlds, starring Ice Cube. The worst movie of the generation. Holy fuck!
Terrifying machines launch out of these meteors.
Get away from that! Get out of there! I'm coming for you now!
Okay. War of the Worlds, starring Ice Cube on Amazon Prime. Do I even need to review the movie? I feel like that sentence, like, says it all, but whatever. I heard about this on Twitter. basically in a sentence like that. And I was like, oh, that sounds crazy. It's probably not going to be good, but it's on Prime. I'll check it out. Then I saw it on Prime. Right now, my parents and I are sharing a Prime account, and they have a Fire Stick, an Amazon Fire TV. And I saw on continue watching. My parents started the movie. I was like, oh, I'll give it a shot. I checked it. They only made it 25 minutes in, roughly a minute or two after the aliens actually show up, and they stopped. When my parents just stop watching a movie, it's a pretty good sign that it's ass. Because when they start a movie, they're like, all right, let's endeavor to watch this and get through it. So if they really decided it wasn't worth their time, I was like, ooh. Well, I gotta see it now. Plus the IMDb rating was 3.3, and it's top 10 on Fire TV. Lots of people are watching this for some reason because Amazon Prime released this and advertised it, promoted it for some reason. Also, this had a very limited theatrical release apparently. Fucking why? Whose idea was that? This movie would be a ripoff if I saw it on a plane. This movie would be a ripoff if I got it for free in a McDonald's Happy Meal. This movie is the closest to a 0 out of 10 I've seen in a long while. This shit sucks. My fucking god. I'm sorry. This is awful. Supposedly this movie was filmed 5 years ago during COVID, and then it got shelved, which makes a lot of sense because it's one of those movies that takes place entirely within screens, searching or whatever. It's Ice Cube works for the government. He's an NSA agent who uses his tools to spy on his adult children. And then for some reason he's talking with a lady at NASA, and then the War of the Worlds starts happening. For whatever reason is how I could describe this whole movie. For whatever reason, it exists. For whatever reason, they picked Ice Cube. For whatever reason, this terrible movie that would have been shit 5 years ago when it was new, and is extra shit now, for some reason it's released. It's it does everything wrong. It looks like shit. It's edited horribly. It looks like a TikTok edit, or a really bad YouTube short edit, or worse than that. For the whole movie, it's really distracting and hard to focus on anything. The style is horribly inconsistent. It doesn't understand the internet at all. Whoever made this literally does not understand technology. Because it's oh, all the satellites on Earth have been wiped out, and then they're talking to each other on WhatsApp and tweeting, and the news is still going out, and you're seeing this lower quality than Skibbity Toilet ass animation of these aliens and shaky cam iPhone footage, while Ice Cube just goes, damn, and whoa, the whole time. It's so bad. That is the movie. And on top of that, the whole thing is just a conspiratorial, conservative, anti-data harvesting thing. I literally can't even understand. It's the aliens want our data. And so, some dude at the NSA goes rogue and builds a data network that, alerts the aliens, because the aliens, even in, the 50s at Roswell, they love our data, even though that's completely fucking illogical and makes no sense. We didn't have, well, okay, forget that. But, that they come for our data, so, Roderick from the Diary of a Wimpy Kid movies has to pilot an Amazon Prime air drone in the climax to bring Ice Cube a flash drive so that he can upload a virus and defeat the aliens. Remember Prime Air? That service that somehow ended up psyoped into a bunch of media, joking that we get things delivered with drones when we don't, and we still don't? And Amazon will probably never be able to get that off the ground? What the fuck? What the fuck is this, dude? Amazon released a commercial for itself featuring services they don't have, that they were trying to advertise 5 years ago when this was made. Literally, why release this? Why release this? It's fucking terrible. Everyone in it would probably prefer it if no one ever saw that they were in it. And again, it's an ad for stuff that no one uses anyway or doesn't exist. It's got like Teams and WhatsApp, and it's like, no one likes using Teams. It's like, oh, X, the everything app. Like, no one calls it X. And like, oh my god, I forgot about the Tesla product placement. Fuck. Like, there's literally like Tesla self-driving cars in the movie for like multiple plot points. At one point, they like bribe a homeless guy to flip their drone over by giving him an Amazon gift card, which, as my girlfriend pointed out, wouldn't work for a homeless person because you need an address to get Amazon shit delivered. It's like, nothing in this movie makes sense. It is all a huge slap in the face. It looks like shit, sounds like shit. Nothing in it makes sense or feels like it was written by someone who understands how these things work. They don't understand the internet. They don't understand Twitch streaming. They don't understand how Wi-Fi or like data works in general. They clearly don't know how to direct a movie. Like, I am shocked by this. Like, it's been honestly gratifying to see how many people have also seen this and have said this is like one of the worst movies ever. Like, forget of the year, just ever. It's fucking terrible. It's like nothing but shaky cams, rambling conspiratorial dialogue that literally doesn't make sense if you understand any of this stuff. Ice Cube just memeing the shit out of himself, giving like terrible stilted reactions the entire time. No one else can act. Horrible, horrible product placement. Terrible pacing. It barely functions as a movie. Fucking terrible. And let alone as an adaptation of War of the Worlds. Even you take that aspect away completely, and it would barely change the story because it doesn't feel like an adaptation. It's like there are aliens invading. That's the only similarity, really. I don't know what they were thinking, drinking, smoking, popping, whatever. What were you popping, B? This shit is awful. Like, you might enjoy it as a so bad it's good movie because it is truly just an absolute abject failure at trying to make a movie. But for my girlfriend and I, this was just painful to get through. And like, yeah, like easily, this is worse than Hurry Up Tomorrow. This is worse than Electric State or Sneaks. This is my worst movie of the year. Hands down, no goddamn question. Woof. Yeah, great movie, check it out. So awful, you might just change forever. For better or worse. This movie could very well change you forever. Alright, it's everything. I think this turned out longer than the last one, despite my efforts. I hope that, you know, in the end it isn't really a problem. Hopefully you guys enjoyed listening to me talk about this stuff. And if you did enjoy this video or the last one where I talked about other summer movies, please do let me know in the comments. It's great to know whether or not I'm doing things that you guys find interesting. Let me know what you thought of these movies. If there's other stuff you want me to check out, let me know and maybe I'll try and check it out. And again, I'll be busy with life for a while, but I'm still going to keep uploading when I can. Some smaller videos and some bigger videos, but just, yeah, all that. Thank you all for sticking around. Take care, and go watch some movies, why don't you? If you end up seeing even one of these and liking them, I would love to hear about it. Or hating them. Even if you just watch War of the Worlds and you're like, you did this to me! Let me know, because then I'll know if I'm guilty or not. Alright. Peace, everybody. Stay safe. I am gonna go do not movie things. Peace.